listening, and thank you for tuning in to Fortified Foundations TV. I'm Latasha Shrod, and I'll be your director. Fortified Foundations is a nonprofit organization right here in Columbia, South Carolina, dedicated to restructuring our village so that we can fortify our foundation. Now, I know many of you have heard the phrase, it takes a village to raise a child, and I know just as many of you are scratching your heads trying to figure out what the heck happened. Well, there's a multitude of factors that have contributed to the lack and the downfall within our community. But instead of focusing on those negative things, we're going to focus on the positive. Fortified Foundations is attempting to reshape our village. What we want to do is teach our community that there's a better way to handle things. There's plenty of resources available to meet your every need. In the future, you will see several programs lined up through Fortified Foundations. We're going to be talking about finances. We're going to be talking about health and wealth and beauty and esteem, and really introducing our community to the idea that it is okay to network. It is okay to ask for help. One of the things that I've learned in both my informal and formal education is the idea that sometimes it's not about a lack of resources. Sometimes it's simply about a lack of understanding of resources, and more often than not, it's about the lack of communication. Fortified Foundations is going to make it okay. We're going to normalize the idea of coming together as a community and creating that same wealth that once existed with Black Wall Street. We can definitely make it happen. One of the ways in which we're going to do this is engage both our community members and business owners, most definitely our business owners, the people that we pay on a regular basis to exist within our communities. We got to make them give back to the community in which they exist. One thing we definitely have to do is get our community members engaged. We have to meet people where they are if we want to make change. That's one thing I think we've been missing for so long is we set these high expectations, and when people do not meet them, we don't know how to get them to that point. So we forget about them. We leave them by the wayside. We call them every negative thing that we possibly can, and we fail to realize that it is our job as community leaders to make sure we get our community members where they need to be. Show them what's available to them. Show them that they can be more than what they think. I'll tell you a story that kind of put that into perspective for me. Back in 2008, I did an internship about the social pressures and anxieties that were created given hurricanes and the displacement of students. Because as you know, back in 2005, we experienced Hurricane Katrina. Hurricane Katrina left several thousand students displaced. You had students going from New Orleans in the 9th Ward to Texas. Completely different system. Some of the things that I heard these kids say was that this ain't for me. I don't belong here. I'm not supposed to have this. You heard them talk about how different it was in their hometown versus where they are. And not only how different, but how they were being forced and stripped of some of their cultural beliefs. Stuff as simple as cornrows, having braids, having afros. These children went through these things. They didn't know that anything existed outside of what they knew to be home. And once they got to that outside place, who they were was stripped from them. It is our job as community leaders to make sure that our community knows that more exists than just where you are. We really have to recapture that spirit, the spirit that existed when we went with the phrase, it takes a village to raise a child. We have to recapture the essence that taught us that we can be anything we want to be if we put our minds to. You are the captain of your own ship, and knowledge is power, and that's something no one can take from you. Unfortunately, we have gone so long not remembering who we are, and unfortunately losing ourselves to a society that does not fit us. And we end up becoming crabs in a barrel. But why? Why can't we take the skill set of this person, coupled with the skill set of this person, and create something huge? Create something that is very impactful, not only for ourselves, but for our community as a whole. It's all about building. It's all about loving and caring and meeting people where they are so that we can get them to higher levels. Fortified Foundations is in the business of doing that. We have several programs lined up this year that are going to offer support to our community. Like I said, we're going to have financial seminars where we're going to talk about wealth building. We're going to talk about investments. We're going to talk about the very thing that keeps us from at least getting somewhere near where that 1% is in our country. We're going to talk about health and beauty. Understand that beauty exists within health. And I don't mean just physically healthy, which we also need to be more cognizant of, but also our mental health and our mental awareness. One thing for sure is sometimes we live within a community that it's if you go to the therapist, you're crazy. If you go to a life coach, you don't have any control over your life. Let's be real. We all need guidance. We all need someone to talk to who's non-judgmental. They may not know our story or anything of that nature. It has nothing to do with you being crazy. It has nothing to do with you lacking control. The honest part of it all is, if you seek those things when you know you need them, you have the ultimate control over your life. Fortified Foundations really wants to make that known. We want to normalize people's ability and acceptance of assistance. And I don't mean by any means the abuse of assistance, but the need of assistance and actually getting it. You're not out there by yourself. There's a better way to do it. And Fortified Foundations plans to introduce you to that way. In the future, you're going to be seeing videos that tackle multiple subjects, because Fortified Foundations does plan to attack all issues within our community from a holistic standpoint. From this point on, we recognize that there are problems, but we're going to move to a solution-based society. What that means is we're going to see the problem. We're going to acknowledge the problem. We're going to work on solutions. We're not going to work in a circular pattern of thinking. That circular pattern of thinking that tells me, here's a problem, I'm upset about it. Here's a problem, I'm upset about it. Here's a problem, I'm upset about it. We're going to intervene and we're going to disconnect that to make it a linear thought process in which we say, here's the problem, I've thought about it, this is what I can do to rectify it, here's my solution. Not only does that help with that particular situation, it also allows us to say, you know what, I can use that same practice within other situations. I don't have to be bogged down with stuff that doesn't matter because I've learned how to deal with it. We're going to be doing some beauty bayous. I'm going to be reaching out to local hairstylists, makeup artists, barbers, things of that nature. Because guess what? When you look good, you feel good. And quite frankly, we all could use a lesson in the simplicity of making ourselves look and feel good. Again, this is Fortified Foundations. I am the director, Latasha Schrott, and I'll be coming to you probably on a weekly or a monthly basis as things, as time permits and as things come up. If you have any questions about our organization, you can always drop a message. We will definitely get back to you. If you want to reach me in person, my phone number is 803-315-2024. If in fact I don't answer, please give me time because I also work during the day. Just leave me a message and I'll get back to you as soon as possible. The quickest way to reach me would probably be to send me a message. It's a little bit easier for me to reply to a message than it is for me to actually answer the phone. You can also text that number if you would like to do that as well. Again, thank you for your time. I will definitely be back with more information.